Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamila Mizik. U.S. Coast Guard and police officials were today on the ground following reports that an aircraft went down off Managua this afternoon. Our news team reached out to Bahamas Air Navigation Service Division General Manager Keith Major, who at the time gave us these details.
I have information that a Coast Guard aircraft heard a transmission that an aircraft said that he was experiencing some engine difficulties and going down. That was the extent to what we heard. Now, they have a Coast Guard, two Coast Guard aircraft en route to conduct searches just to verify if anything is visible.
At that point, there was no indication that the aircraft originated from the capital.
I'll tell you, as far as NASA is concerned, we have no missing or overdue aircraft, so no call sign information was provided, no names of any persons or whatever, or no aircraft type was provided to us. It's just one transmission that I'm experiencing engine difficulty and going down. That was it.
News of today's plane crash certainly rehashed the events of what happened on the night of November 8th when seasoned pilot Byron Ferguson's six-seater Piper Aztec landed in waters off Nirvana Beach. While pieces of the wreck were found, Ferguson's body still hasn't. In news from Parliament this evening, utility companies to be held accountable for their lax approach in properly restoring roads. And this comes in the form of an amendment to the Road Act that sees to it that hefty fines are imposed.
This amendment will bite them in the pocketbook if they are lax and will ensure that they pay attention to the safety needs of road users.
That, of course, is Works Minister Desmond Bannister leading off debate on the proposed bill in the House of Assembly this morning. Making a case for the amendment, the minister noted that approximately 800 miles of road in New Providence have not been paved for 20 to 30 years. Admittedly, then, such road surfaces require maintenance and sometimes reconstruction. However, they're said to deteriorate at a quicker pace when they're cut into and left as is, as the practice of utility companies.
Most often, so we find utilities cutting into the roads for any number of reasons. The law requires them to first obtain the consent of the minister, but they don't do it because the fine for excavating a road without consent is only $75. Yep. The Speaker, this amendment does several things. First, it provides an application form in the schedule for anyone who wishes to excavate a road. That application must be completed and submitted with the prescribed fee for the minister's approval. The Ministry of Public Works will then issue a permit, which will give them permission to excavate the road.
The amendment also creates consequences for anyone who excavates a road without permission or does not restore a road properly. The fine here will also be increased heavily from $75 to $10,000. Contributing to the debate, Long Island MP and Water and Sewerage Corporation Chairman Adrian Gibson implored the WSC to comply by the law. While another House sitting finds opposition MPs absent. As promised, the Progressive Liberal Party continued on with its boycott of parliamentary proceedings in the face of what its leader has called tyrannical practices. PLP Chief Philip Davis was referring to the recent arrest and subsequent arraignment of 4 Grand Bahamians, all believed to be PLP supporters. Among the accused was former Deputy Director of Urban Renewal in Grand Bahama, Michelle Rackley. The opposition insists the party will only return to Parliament when its point has sufficiently been made and it is judged to be in the better interest of Bahamians. Until then, said PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell, the party will continue to meet the people in the streets and in the People's Parliament around the nation. While expressing disappointment in the opposition's actions this morning was Carmichael MP Desmond Bannister.
Whenever I speak in this place, I look forward to hearing from the considered views of members of the opposition. That's what democracy is all about, sir. Yes. Speaker, they have a high constitutional duty to be here and to debate issues that come before this Parliament. They very responsibly and voluntarily absented themselves, sir. And there is no excuse for that dereliction of duty. None.
According to Mr. Bannister, just as the opposition has disappointed him, Bahamians will disappoint them when the time comes. According to Bannister, just as the opposition has disappointed him, Bahamians will disappoint them when the time comes. Leader of government business in the Senate, Attorney General Carl Bethel, has meantime called the opposition's actions absolutely unacceptable in a civilized democracy. Meantime, a call for PLPs to suit up and prepare for the fight to win the next general election. Sending out the clarion call last night was the party's deputy leader, Chester Cooper, who threw out an invitation for good, credible people, new faces, females, and young Bahamians to join the official opposition, charging that it is a party with better ideas and better ways to execute them. Still, he acknowledged that the PLP needs better strategies to get the message out, and not only to get people to listen, but to engage them. And while Mr. Cooper is hoping to lure in generational voters, by the same token, he reminded Grand Bahamians that you don't have to be born into the PLP to be an integral part of it. The PLP deputy was addressing a joint branch meeting, Pine Ridge and Marco City in Grand Bahama last evening. The 2017 general election saw the then governing party lose all 5 seats in the second city. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.